Hello students, today we're going to be talking about the area model of multiplication. So I know that many of you and all of your parents probably are used to multiplying by a particular algorithm, but that algorithm really doesn't help with understanding or help you to understand why you're doing what you're doing. So we like to teach these days a couple of different ways to multiply that really foster understanding. And the first one we're going to talk about today is the area model of multiplication. So before we get started, let's remember what area is. Area is the inside of a shape, right? So if I draw a rectangle like this, and I say that this side is 5 inches, and this side is 4 inches, then we would say the area of that rectangle is 5 times 4, or 20 square inches. All right, so the area model is based exactly on that concept, so it's important to remember. Also, for the area model, you need to remember how you can break numbers down using the expanded form. So we would break 27 into 20 plus 7, and we would break 35 into 30 plus 5. So if you remember those two things, that's going to make the area model pretty easy. I actually like the area model. I think it's a great first way to teach multiplication of two-digit numbers. Students usually catch on really quick, and I think it's a really fun way to multiply. So you start out drawing a rectangle, and let's say we are multiplying 37 times 25. All right, we're gonna separate this box based on the area. So the top number is where we're gonna put 37, and we're gonna break it down into 30 plus 7. And thinking about the area, 30 would be a lot bigger than 7. So we're going to separate it kind of like that, 30 plus 7. Then we're going to put 25 down this side. And again, 20 is going to be more area, a bigger space than 5. And you're going to put a little multiplication sign right there in the corner to help you remember what you're doing, which is multiplying. All right, so that's the way you set it up. And then you just simply multiply in each box. So in this box, we would multiply 20 times 30. Okay, and 2 times 3 is 6, and we have 2 zeros. So we'll add our 2 zeros. 20 times 30 is 600. Then here, we're going to multiply 30 times 5. 3 times 5 is 15, and we have 1 0. Then here, we're going to multiply the 7 and the 20, and 2 times 7 is 14, and we have 1 0. And here, we're going to multiply 7 times 5, which is 35. Now these numbers, the numbers that I've written in pink, are called the partial products because they're not the total product. Remember, in a multiplication equation, we have factor times factor equals product. So we don't have the whole entire product put together yet, but each one of these numbers is a partial product. Now you can see I'm writing the multiplication problem in each box. You don't have to do that, unless your particular teacher requires that, but it is helpful at the beginning to help you see what to do. Because if students do have problems with this method, it's based on knowing which numbers to multiply in which box. So real quick, I'm gonna just sort of draw some arrows so you can see that. So it's like in this box, we do the 20 and the 30, okay? In this box, we do the 20 and the 7, right? And then in this box, we would do the 5 and the 30, and then we would do the 5 and the 7, just like that. All right, so once we get our partial products, we add them all up. So I like to add down first. You can get 750, and then here, 175, and then you add those two together. 750 plus 175, and you get 925. That would be your product or your answer. Now, some people like to put all the partial products together and add them in one big list, and that's perfectly fine. The main thing to remember is that you're keeping the place values all lined up nicely. It might be a good idea to do this on graph paper if you tend to have trouble keeping things lined up. It's also a good way to do area in general, so graph paper might be a great idea, but just remember to keep your ones, your tens, your hundreds lined up. So then when you add it, 9, 10, 11, 12, 6, 7, 8, 9. 925 would be the answer. All right, so let's try another one. These, once you sort of have the hang of it, this is a really easy way to multiply. And I'll show you, you can do it 1 digit by 3 digit. You could really do it for almost any number. The bigger the number gets, the little more tedious all those boxes would get. Let's say this time we're gonna do 42 times 36. All right, so we're gonna draw our rectangle. Okay, and we're gonna think about expanded form and area. The top we're gonna put 40 and 2. Okay, and 40 would obviously be a much larger area than 2. And here we're gonna put 30 plus 6. All right, so in this box, we're gonna multiply 30 times 40. 3 times 4 is 12. I add my 2 zeros. Here, 40 times 6 is 24. And I add my 1 0. Here, 30 times 2 is 60. And 2 times 6 is 12. All right, so if I wanted to add down, I would have 1440 plus 72. So then I could come up here and write 1440 and 72. Add those up. And I get 1,512. Okay? All right, so let me show you now. You can use this. Let's say we have a problem that is 3 digits by 1 digit. So let's say I'm gonna multiply 754 times 9. Okay, well this time I need a box that's 3 by 1. So it's gonna be longer and thinner, right? Okay, so up here for my length, I would have 700, then 50, then 9. So I have 700 plus 50 plus 9. My multiplication sign here. I just have one number to put right there. So 9 times 7 is 63. Put my 2 zeros. 9 times 5 is 45. And put my 1 0. 9 times 9 is 81. So then I would have to add all those numbers up. 6,300 plus 4,500 plus 81. And if you add those up, you get a 1, a 13, an 8, and a 6. So our answer would be 6,831. You can see how this is sort of getting us ready to move in the direction of the algorithm, because when you multiply the way that most of us grown-ups were taught, these are the same numbers that you would eventually have in that problem. So it's just helping to understand how we get them and what they mean. Okay, so let's try another 2 digit by 2 digit. Like I said, once you've done this a few times, it's really pretty easy. Okay, so let's say we have 98 times 15. All right, so what am I going to do first? Everybody try it. First, you're going to draw a rectangle, right? Okay, and then I'm going to have 90 plus 8. And here I'm going to have 10 plus 5. Multiplication sign right there to let me know what I'm doing. All right, so what am I going to do now? What 2 numbers will I multiply in this first box? 90 times 10. Right here, 90 times 10. So 90 times 10 is 900. Okay, here I'm going to multiply 90 times 5. So this is the 90 and there's the 5. Okay, 9 times 5 is 45. And I have 1 0. So I have 450. Right here I've got 10 times 8, which is going to be 80. And here I have 5 times 8, which is 40. And then I add those together. So here would be a 0, 5, 13. I add these together. That's 120. So then I'm going to say 1,350 plus 120 equals 0, 7, 4, 1. So my answer would be 1,470. Okay, Think you're understanding that a little better? It's just one of those things you have to practice and practice. And again, this is one of those things where if you don't know your basic multiplication facts, this is going to be way more difficult and take lots longer. So hopefully everybody is practicing their multiplication facts while they're learning new things. All right, let's say we're going to do 75 times 44. Okay, everybody try. Draw. What are you going to do first? Good, you're going to draw a rectangle. Okay. Great. And what are we going to do next? Going to separate the 70 and the 5 into 70 plus 5. So I have 70 plus 5. And then what am I going to do over here? I'm going to separate this into 40 plus 4. Put my multiplication sign up there to let me know what I'm doing. Okay, what am I going to put in this first box? 40 times 70. 4 times 7 is 28. I add my 2 zeros. Okay, here I have 4 times 70. Again, 4 times 7 is 28. This time I just have 1 0. Then over here, I have 40 times 5. So 4 times 5 is 20, and then I have 1 0. And here I'm going to have 5 times 4, or 4 times 5, and that's 20. So I'm going to add, and I have 0, 8, 2 plus 8 is a 10. I carry that 1, I have 3,080 plus 220. So if I add those together, 3,080 plus 220, 0, that's a 10, that would be a 3 and a 3. So 3,300. All right, so I think that's it for the area model. Practice a lot. Remember to practice your multiplication facts. The more you practice those, the easier any kind of multiplication will be. Once you've mastered multiplying using the area model, you can come back in a day or two and I'll post a video about multiplying with the method we call partial product. And from there, you'll go to the algorithm. So I hope everybody has enjoyed learning about the area model of multiplication. Remember, I level math and I level you. I'll see you next time.